All right, so now we are going to work on graphing this quadratic. To graph a quadratic, of course, the first thing we need to do is find the vertex. And the vertex is found by first finding the axis of symmetry, x equals negative b over 2a. In this equation, our b for this equation is negative 4. So we have negative 4 over, and a is 2. So we have 2 times 2, and that gives us a value, change these both to positive, gives us a value of 1. So our axis of symmetry is 1. So if we come over to our graph, that means we are going to have this axis of symmetry right here, where our graph is going to be reflected through that. All right, so once we've got our x-coordinate, now we need to find our y-coordinate. How do we get y? Well, we just plug in the x. So y is 2 times 1 squared minus 4 times 1 minus 5. So y equals 2 minus 4 minus 5 equals negative 7. So that gives us a vertex of v is 1, negative 7. So coming over to my graph, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and there is my vertex. And once we've got the vertex, we can look up here, and this equation that we started with, we've dealt with the back part. The bx plus c is dealt with. We don't care about that. All that does is tells us where to move the vertex. So now the only thing left to worry about is the y equals 2x squared. So we're going to start from our vertex and say, hey, if x changes by 1, 1 squared is 1, but we've got to multiply that by 2. So a 1 from the vertex, we go up 2. And we do that in both directions. And you'll note the y-intercept is negative 5, just like we would expect from here. Y-intercept of negative 5. All right, so then, again, going back to our vertex, if we were to go 2 away from our vertex, well, 2 squared is 4, the multiplier of 2, so we make that 8. So we're going to go up 8, 1. Remember, we started at negative 7, so we don't have to count. We can just move up. Same thing on the other side. It's 1. And if we go over 3, 1, 2, 3, well, 3 squared is 9 times 2 is 18. So that's 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, and of course 18 is up here off of our graph. So we will put a point about here, another one about here, and there we go. Now, so we can draw our parabola. I'm not very good with this pad, but more or less like that. So we've got our parabola, and we're done. We've graphed this equation. So what did we do? Well, we started by finding our axis of symmetry at 1, used that to find the y-coordinate, negative 7, and so our vertex is 1, negative 7. Incidentally, that means that our minimum value here is negative 7. Now, what if we wanted to take this and say, you know what, I don't want to graph when y is equal to. What if we went in here and we changed this and said, hey, I want to know when is y less than or equal to 2x squared minus 4x minus 5. Well, now, fairly simple, we come over to our graph and we say, hey, okay, this is the y value. For example, this is the y value when x is 1. Well, I want y to be less than that. So I'm simply going to go and I'm going to draw down a little arrow. And at every point, I'm going to draw down a little arrow. If I continued my graph over here, I'd draw down my arrow. Continued my graph this way, I'd have my arrow coming down. And so y is less than is going to be this whole region outside. And so now, instead of just graphing the equation, graph the inequality. No big difference. If it was y is less than without the or equal to, then we would draw a dotted line. So, graphing a quadratic.